In tonight's headlines, Goldson House held its first ever summer camp for children. The Belize Social Investment Fund promotes water and sewage health and will take you on a tour of the National Met Service. These stories and more on this week's edition of Belize Now. Thanks for joining us on this Friday, August 25th, 2017. I'm Charlie Hutchinson. Last month, we shared an update on the Goldson House, which was built in honor of national hero Philip Stanley Wilberforce Goldson. Last week, the museum held its first summer camp, and our Belize Now team was there for the excitement. Janelle Mencias tells us more.
It was an exciting week at the Goldson House for Democracy and Patriotism, as children and parents joined the staff for the museum's first annual summer camp. Our team arrived on the first day to find the group well engaged in a history lesson led by coordinator Kendra Griffith, who shared with us an overview of the camp.
The first day was all things Goldson, so we did the tour and we did different activities about Goldson, trivia and so forth. And today it was with BCVI, and we had the children learn how the children use the Braille equipment, how you write letters and numbers and the different variations of each thing. It was really amazing, so I'm really happy with the turnout because everyone, including myself, left with a learning experience, and it was really nice to see everyone asking so many questions, the children enjoying themselves. The children from BCVI took a tour at the Goldson House and they enjoyed it. Our goal now is to have Braille in the Goldson House, whereby it's more accessible to all people. For example, for those who are visually impaired, would be able to take the tour and read as they're going along.
Despite becoming completely blind in 1978, Philip Goldson served his country for 21 years as a lawyer and politician, and even traveled to New York to learn Braille. Like the late Goldson, the participants at the camp got the unique opportunity to engage in one of the most exciting features of the 3-day camp, Basics in Braille. This session was facilitated by the Belize Council for the Visually Impaired, BCVI. Rehabilitation Field Officer at BCVI, Elvia Sierra, spoke to us about their collaboration with Niche.
It's our first time. We didn't know exactly what to expect, but it's really good because then we're seeing that children are interested in learning Braille. It's something totally different, it's basically learning the alphabets and everything. And what they told us is that they would like to have everything, in Braille. And to me, that's very fantastic because then, that is what is lacking in Belize. And if that would come true, then, these children would come on their own and read the information and everything. So it's very good.
Sierra shared a little more with us about learning Braille.
They are integrated into the educational system as soon as possible. We would say 3. We would basically do the basic, of preschool when they're between 2 to 3, like for them to learn their numbers, alphabets, and the actual time that they would take to learn the alphabets, it would be like 2 years for them to actually, master the alphabets, and then afterwards to join them and make words. So they know that they're much bigger, so they can be able to read it. So it takes quite a while, but it's not impossible.
And while the visually impaired children gain some new history knowledge, the opportunity for them to share with sighted children presented a great opportunity for the council to build awareness on visual impairment.
It's really important to have them integrated into society, so that society can see that even though these children aren't able to see, have that disability, it's not impossible for them to, reach their milestones, become, like for example, Angelique wants to be a psychologist. So then it's not impossible for them to get an education. And being enrolled in the regular classroom is very good for them, both for them that are visually impaired and for the sighted children, because then it brings more awareness. It makes society become, much more keen in wanting to help with them.
There is no doubt that participants at the camp had an exciting few days, as they were delighted to share with us their various experiences, even the littlest.
I know that he wasn't always blind, but I feel like when they told me the story that many of us disability children can do anything.
I could recall they mentioned that even in the jail cells, he would even write on toilet paper and get it out to our Belizean people what his thoughts are. And that's encouraging to me as a Belizean to keep persisting in whatever I do for the upliftment of our country.
Because he was blind, and the things that he did for Belize makes me feel that no matter what happens to you, you can still achieve anything in life.
Of course, it moved me because I had no idea he was blind. And even after he was diagnosed, he still pushed forward and still ran in a campaign. And that's a huge deal, and he actually won. So that's like a learning lesson. You don't need to allow something that the world depicts as a weakness you can use it to your advantage and still move forward and fight for what you believe in and what you want.
I think it was very good to make me learn Braille because I didn't know it before. But I think I really did a good job on learning it, even though I did make some mistakes. And I think I did really good.
Why did you come to the Goldson House today?
Because I don't want it to be alone in my house.
Oh, you didn't want to be alone. For all of us, it was a week filled with some sort of inspiration, a little history, and just some good company. J, E, A, N, E, L, Kurt, again, high five. Oh. Alright, perfect. Thank you so much. For Belize Now, I am Janelle Mencias.
Water is essential to public health, and while the Social Investment Fund continues to provide safe, potable water to communities across the country, they found it equally important to ensure that with access to clean water, people practice safe health. On Thursday, August 24th, the Social Investment Fund hosted a health fair in Gardenia Village. Janelle Rodriguez tells us more.
It is often said that water is the gift of life. Thousands of Belizeans are benefiting from this gift, courtesy of the government of Belize through the Belize Social Investment Fund, SIF. But with such a great gift comes great responsibility. This is why on Thursday, August 24th, the Social Investment Fund, in partnership with the Ministry of Health, hosted a health fair aimed at educating villagers on health practices using clean water. Shadrach Ariola, Hecobob Health Coordinator, tells us what inspired the coordination of the event.
Based on statistics that shows that some of these villages that had new water system also had some cases of diarrhea or gastroenteritis in the past. So we thought it would be wise for us to ask SIF or join up with SIF for us to do some educational activities to complement the infrastructure that they had funded over the past year.
The fair aimed to educate the public on proper water consumption, conservation, and sustainability of water systems. Gardenia Village Council member Andrea Gentle told us why it is important to educate the public on health practices.
It's a good way of letting the villagers in this community of Gardenia and nearby villages to know that you should be informed of what your health, the status of your health, what it is like. You don't necessarily have to wait until you fall ill to know that there is something going on. You could check so that you know.
The health fair consisted of different departments from various government and non-government organizations that could bring awareness to the public in terms of waterborne illnesses as well as other areas of health concern. Services offered included fluoride treatment, vector control information, eye exams, mental health information, and sexual and reproductive health information. Kendall Trapp, Executive Director of Empower Yourself Movement, gave us one very important reason clean water and health practices are essential to sexual and reproductive health.
In my field of work, when we teach about sexual and reproductive health, water is essential because if you have a sexual encounter, taking a shower might minimize the possibility of developing some kind of bacteria or some kind of germs.
Shadrach Ariola told us what he expects villagers to take with them from their involvement in the health fair.
The basic idea is to go back with some information, some knowledge in respect to what they can do to better their health. We know they just receive a new water system, so if they can take back some information on how to purify the water, how to treat water, especially rainwater. A lot of the villagers still use rainwater, still use their vat water, so if they can learn something on how to treat those water, that would be very beneficial.
The efforts of the Social Investment Fund and the Ministry of Health highlight that prevention through education is better than cure. For Belize Now, I am Janelle Rodriguez.
SIF is an implementing agency of the government that addresses the basic needs of Belizeans as enshrined in government's policy to alleviate poverty. The Directorate General for Foreign Trade, DGFT, held a brief ceremony on Thursday, August 24th, to officially launch its website. Our Belize Now team was told why the website is important for the trade sector.
This website is critical for our department. The mandate that we execute for government is that of trade policy formulation and trade negotiations and, of course, trade agreement implementation. So that basically implies a heavy consultative agenda, a lot of information sharing. The website would seek to assist us with getting that information out to the general public and also to our stakeholders.
The website for us is a big step forward. The ministry has been making efforts because it realizes that it's important to have all the information relating to the ministry and particularly the Directorate General for Foreign Trade to share it with stakeholders and the general public. The ministry and the directorate has been working very, very hard, have been doing a lot of work and making a lot of progress in areas of trade and so on, and the general public. This website will be the platform for which we will be sharing information on a consistent basis.
Some of the main features we have, the media and resources feature is one of the most important parts of it. We provide infographics, we provide trade data, we provide publications, we provide a host of other useful information to both private sector persons and to the general public.
The website also has information on Belize's trade agreements as well as trade opportunities available within CARICOM. The DGFT and the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Commerce encourage current and potential investors and the public to visit the website at www.dgft.gov.bz. After the break, more stories. Stay with us.
The new Belize City Civic Center is taking shape at the foot of the Balkan Bridge and is expected to be completed by December 2017. This multi-purpose mega facility will boast an air-conditioned interior with a seating capacity of 4,500, a FIBA-certified wooden main court and 3 practice courts, offices, media boxes and multiple locker rooms, another basketball court with 24-hour access to the public, and parking for 200 vehicles. This $33 million investment highlights a new era of world-class sporting infrastructure for the entire country of Belize. The government of Belize, moving Belize forward.
Earlier this week, our team visited the central office of the National Meteorology Service of Belize and prepared this special report on the daily work of the staff.
It's the hurricane season, and this time of year more than any other, we tune in for daily weather forecast updates. But have you ever wondered where this information comes from? Well, today we're taking you on a tour of the National Meteorological Service, a behind-the-scenes look at the work that is done and the dedicated staff that does it.
The National Met Service is the leading government authority in the country when it comes to weather and climate information. Catherine Cumberbatch is the chief meteorologist at the Met Service, and she gave us an overview of what exactly it is that the department does.
We provide meteorological and climate-based products in a systematic, accurate monitoring, reliable data analysis and data collection in a timely and user-friendly manner to the people of Belize. And the reason why this is done in order for the safety and the well-being of the people of Belize and for the protection and the social economic development of the country. We must understand that we are under the umbrella of the World Meteorological Organization, and the whole world agreed that for the Region 4, which is the Caribbean, the North Atlantic and the Gulf of Mexico, the National Hurricane Center is the authority for tracking and monitoring these systems. What we are responsible for in the case of emergency is to say what type of weather we will expect from this system.
The weather has no boundaries, so the National Met Service is a 24-hour operation and is led by a staff of 30. The different units and various equipment are what keep the office functioning. The weather forecasting section is one of the most essential sections of the department and is tasked with preparing weather forecasts and predictions for the entire country.
So we do weather observations, and in weather observations we do two kinds. We do surface observation and upper air observation, and we make weather forecasts. So all the weather forecasts that you see on the TV and hear on the radio, we produce it here. The surface observation is concerned with conditions at the surface, and especially here at the airport. So they include things like wind, direction and wind speed, temperature, pressure, the state of the sky, the clouds, the type of clouds, and any kind of weather that's happening. So all that is included in the surface observation. With the upper air observation is where we send up the weather balloon, and the balloon has an instrument attached onto it known as a radiosun, and that checks conditions in the upper atmosphere.
Every 5 o'clock in the morning and in the evening, we send up this instrument known as a radiosun, and this instrument is attached to a hydrogen-filled balloon, and by the way, we manufacture our own hydrogen. This instrument every 5 o'clock in the morning and in the evening, and in the hurricane season when requested by National Hurricane Center, we release this instrument into the atmosphere. It is carried aloft by the wind, and it transmits back information in the form of radio signals. On top of the building is an antenna that receives the radio signals and passes it on to the computer here.
The balloon travels about 30 kilometers or 19 miles into the atmosphere before it bursts. All this time going up, it transmits information on the temperature, relative humidity, pressure, and wind direction and speed. This is done as a joint operation between the governments of Belize and the United States. The U.S. provides the instruments and training, and Belize provides its personnel. A daily operation such as this would cost somewhere around $600 Belize dollars. Weather observation requires an extensive amount of technology, from computer-operated systems to thermometers and different types of devices that record wind speeds, measure rainfall, water evaporation, and the heat from the sun. Here's a bit of what we learned about the technical staff.
We are responsible for the installation and maintenance of manual weather stations and automatic weather stations. Before we actually set up a weather station, we have to do in-house testing. So currently I am testing different types of thermometers just to make sure that they're up to standard in terms of accuracy.
We have weather stations all over Belize. So I have a map here showing you the locations of our weather stations. When the data reaches to our office, we need to store it in our database. This is our database, and visualize that data. So that whole process of data gathering, some amount of manipulation and visualization, that's basically what I do. We're always thinking about how we can give you guys, the Belizean public, the best information.
If you've ever seen or visited the office of the National Met Service on the compound of the Philip Goldson International Airport, you would have noticed a soccer ball-like structure atop the building. That's a radar, and here's how it operates.
This radar consists of the usual architecture is the transmitter, receiver, and the antenna controlling unit. Right? The transmitter itself houses the magnetron, which is the powerhouse that provides the energy or the microwave energy for the radar to operate. The receiver is the portion that receives the reflected signal and processes it and sends it to the server downstairs, which the forecaster then sees the output at the radar. Right? The feature that this radar has over the older radar is that it's digital and it has more processing power.
Besides doing 3 times a day daily forecasts for the public, the National Met Service also produces different forecasts for various sectors of the country, including forestry, tourism, military, aviation, and agriculture. We made a stop in the agroclimate unit responsible for recording the weather variables such as temperature and rainfall that occur throughout the country.
This information is important because this allows us to see the weather trends over many years throughout the country of Belize. It is important to persons such as farmers, students, for example, the Ministry of Works, that what they want to do is to know how the weather variables, which are, for example, temperature and rainfall, have occurred throughout the years in Belize, the trends, so that they're able to know what to expect during certain months of the year.
Every end of the month, we are responsible for performing charts that we give to our senior supervisors, and also it's being posted in the forecasting section. And also this is being posted in different websites, in our website that we have. These charts that are here are our summary reports that every month we print out so that they can analyze the different patterns in the data that we have.
The National Met Service is also the leading advising authority to the National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO. Ms. Cumberbatch explained that the Met Service isn't responsible for issuing warnings during natural disasters, but are only advisors on weather conditions and possible impacts.
And one thing people don't know, that it is NEMO is the leading government authority that is responsible to give out warning and watch from the advice of the National Met Service. We don't have the authority to do that. When it comes to hurricane phenomena and so, we don't have the authority to give watch and warning. We give advice to them, and most of the time, or 100% of the time, they will react to that advice from the experts. They will react to that advice.
For Belize Now from the National Met Service, I'm Miriam Longsworth.
The National Met Service will continue to be the leading national authority which provides meteorological and climate-based information to the people of Belize. And as a part of their dedication to what they do, the next step for the service is the establishment of their research section, which should be completed before the end of the year. From August 23rd to 24th, the Belize River Valley Sustainable Development Symposium was held in Bermudan Landing in the Belize District. The objective of the symposium was to assist communities throughout the Belize River Valley to organize adequate systems and institutions for residents to utilize existing technical expertise and skills for profitable production in agriculture, clothing and textile, and agro-processing. The symposium was organized by members of the communities with the support of Honorable Edmund Castro, Area Representative for Belize Rural North.
I think the symposium is a useful one and very timely because it's dealing with the development of the Belize River Valley area. And what I had to share with them is to share my support with them, one, and show them how the development over the last 8 years in terms of water for all the 9 villages in the Belize River Valley, how the infrastructure work as we are dealing with the road, the paving of the road from Bermudan Landing all the way to Lemonal, how the development of a new bridge at Maypin will bring more tourists and more development for the area. A program like this brings the different departments together so that our people can access the necessary information, that they can get the necessary help that they need to start up their businesses, whether it's ecotourism, whether it's agriculture and so on.
The communities that are members of the Belize River Valley area, and so we came up with our 5-year management plan,
And this symposium today is part of our management plan where the people have identified issues that were facing them, and so we decided to put it into a symposium to invite the stakeholders and different ministry people, community leaders, so that we can bring our issues to them and to see in what way we can merge everybody concerned into one and move forward for the development of the Belize River Valley.
The two-day symposium was facilitated by representatives from relevant government departments, including agriculture, forestry, and the environment. After the break, our segment In Case You Missed It. Don't go anywhere.
World is changing.
Welcome to Belize.
Nobody will ever stop my heart from loving. Showing
Bienvenidos a Belize.
Let's keep growing. Don't let the struggles get you down.
Recibe lumutiku Belize.
We are golden. We
Tohokre kulunik adin setenamit Belize.
gotta get stronger. We can get
Welcome to Belize.
negativity no longer. Then we
Welcome to Belize. For the first time in the Western Hemisphere, the World Youth Conference is coming, and it's all happening in Belize. The Department of Youth Services under the Ministry of Education, Youth, Sports and Culture, alongside the government of Belize, will be hosting WYC 17 under the theme Globally Running to 2030, Becoming Sustainably Strong from November 6th through the 9th, 2017 at the Ramada Hotel in Belize City. This conference convenes young leaders from around the world as we see how we can tackle the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. See you in Belize.
Join us in Belize for the World Youth Conference 2017.
We gotta keep moving, gotta get stronger. We can't give in to the negativity no longer.
Belize was the guest country at the 21st Afro-Caribbean Festival in Veracruz, Mexico, held from August 10th to 12th, 2017. The event was hosted by the government of the state of Veracruz through their Ministry of Tourism and Culture and the Veracruzan Institute of Culture. The importance of the festival is to acknowledge Africanism as a part of the Mexican culture. The event was organized by Belize Honorary Consul in Veracruz, Ms. Sandra Vasquez. Belize's ambassador to Mexico, His Excellency Oliver Del Cid, congratulated the government of Veracruz and the people of Mexico for recognizing the African aspects of their culture. A part of the exhibition highlighted the Garinagu culture. Mr. Sebastian Cayetano, president of the National Garifuna Council of Belize, participated in the event to speak about the Garinagu people and culture. And that's it for this edition of Belize Now. If you want to provide feedback or send in your comments, please feel free to email us at info@pressoffice.gov.bz or visit our Facebook page and let us know what you think. We look forward to hearing from you. Have a great week. Until next time.